so soon, will you?
I think I'm going to do that. But we're going to get started. Know there are a lot of big events in town tonight, so that's why we've got a little bit less turnout tonight. I know Alamo's going on tonight. All the chocoholics in town are over there getting their free desserts. And No Kid Floating had their banquet tonight. Just for those of you who don't know me, and I think everybody does, I'm Kevin McCarney. I'm the chairman of Freedom Colorado. I've got just a couple seconds for some announcements here, and I'd like Tom Groves first to come up. And Tom is on the Second Amendment Committee.
Okay, the annual banquet is March 28th in a couple of weeks, and I have some sign-up forms here. I'd like to get them back by the 21st so we can get the caterer notified. The main speaker is Dave Coppell, who will talk to us about what's going on with the Colorado gun laws and who's opposing them and what they're doing. Second speaker will be Joyce Bailey, who will give a talk about a hostage situation she was in the Mesa County Courthouse back in 1988. And the caterer is Cowboy and Rose. So if you want to sign up, you got the yellow papers back there, or you can see me. It was March 28th, Saturday.
And I think it starts at like 5 o'clock, right?
Right.
Yeah. A little happy hour and then the meal. And they do all sorts of awards and stuff like that. They're a great organization, as all our individual organizations are here. April 4th, I think the Mesa County Patriots are hosting or going to be at an event up on Orchard Mesa. It's apparently a survivalist event, how to survive the coming collapse of the economy or something like that. But for more information, you can go to their website. They've got it posted there. And then I think we have a Republican lunch coming up, I think next week, right? Next Friday. And it would be another chance to, come on Richard, be another chance for you guys to pose some questions to these folks, because I think they're all going to be there as well. Okay, so to start off tonight's format, I'm going to ask Marty Chazen to come up. We're going to talk about the tax issue real quick, and then we'll get into the debate, because we're going to ask you all a question about that tax issue as well. So if Marty would come up, we're going to talk about referred measure 2B, which is the road, 24 road, F&a-half road, and 25 road expansion. So our Mayor Pro Tem, Marty Chazen.
Thank you. Okay, I'll try to make this as direct as possible. As you remember, there was a bond issue for financing the roads, the bypass, and that went on. And then there was another bond issue. There was another voter initiative, and we refinanced that. Well, what the plan is we were going to have all that paid off sometime around 2020, 2021, and so there's a pile of money accumulating to pay this off. And it's not actually going to pay off the bonds. The bonds are due in 2024. We're going to do what is going to call defease the bonds, which means there's going to be enough money in an escrow type account to cover the principal and interest payments to make sure those bonds are paid off in 2024. So by the time this amendment that we're going to vote on comes around, there's going to be about $11 million in that little pot of money there. So the city said, okay, we have some road programs that we want to do. And those road programs are 25 road, wide 25 road down to F&a-half road, bring F&a-half road across, and then widen 24 road down to the interstate. And what this is going to do is open up that area for development. Now the cost of doing all this is $25.5 million. So they're going to take the $11 million, borrow another $14.5 million, and the financing and the interest rate is such that the city staff believes that all that will be paid off at the time that the bonds would have been paid off in 2025. And this is all going to be financed by keeping the Tabor overage between the years 2021 and 2024, which is about $3 million a year, plus some amount. So that's, in a nutshell, that's, what the projects are and how they're financed. And it's, there's kind of a lot more to it, but in the 40,000 foot view, that's what it is. So the choice you have to make is whether you think that those projects are worthy projects, and whether you want to effectively, de-Bruce the city for another 4 years. That's what it comes down to. All right, thank you.
Just as a side note, and Marty can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe any of the business owners on 25 Road have been approached on this project.
You know what? I don't know that.
Okay. I had talked to a couple that have not been approached, at least, because there is a pretty. Who here has driven on 20 or went to a business on 25 Road and tried to get back out to make a left turn?
My office is on 25 Road.
In that little strip between Patterson and the business loop, it's almost impossible to make a left turn at a certain time of day. Adding 2 more lanes to that's going to make it even worse, I think. My understanding is that the improvement, or the section of land that the city is going to buy, is on the east side. Is that correct? That's my guess, because we have those big concrete power line towers on the east side. Has that been factored in, moving those? Okay. So it's a very interesting issue, and it's going to be something that we're going to ask our 4 candidates up here. Going to welcome everybody to tonight's debate. Come on in, Susan. How are you?
I'm fine.
You're late, so we're going to point you out.
I'm always late.
I forgot, generally at the beginning of our meetings we start with a prayer, so I'm going to ask Jeff Leaney to come up and lead us in a quick prayer here.
Our dear Father in heaven, we come before you this evening to fulfill civic duty and to know what our candidates are thinking, and to perhaps help us in our thought processes. Thank you for the opportunity to live in this great country and to be able to enjoy the liberties that we do have, and for the people who have paid a price that we might have these, and help that we might not take them for granted, and that we might be able to always have the benefit of thy hand to protect us and our country and to keep it great. We just pray for that humble blessing in these things, and in Jesus Christ, amen.
And Harry Benjamin, would you like to lead us in the pledge? No? Okay. How about Richard Hawthorne then? Richard, you want to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, the format for tonight is just like every other format we've ever had for our debates. The candidates are going to have a 2-minute opening speech. Then they're going to have 1 minute to respond to our questions. The first 3 questions are going to be posed by the Board of Freedom Colorado. We've taken the time to come up with 3 questions we think are fairly important. And then after that, we open it up to all of you here in the crowd, and you get to ask whatever you want. So we think our format is unique to the area. They'll have 1 minute to respond to your question. Yes?
And 1 minute.
Yeah, you have 1 minute to ask a question. We don't need a campaign speech because you're not running. They are. So if you could be as concise as possible when you ask your question, that would be great. Okay. And we're going to start off, and we'll just start off with the opening question statements, and we'll start at this end with Rick and go that way.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm Rick Taggart, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I had the opportunity to move to Grand Junction in the early 80s to lead a company and to buy a company by the name of Marmot that some of you may know. And so I have made this community my home for a better part of 30 years. At times I've left the valley to pursue my corporate career, but my family and myself have always returned because this is our home. This winter I made a decision to step back a little bit from my activities at the university. I teach in the business school, I was running several departments within the university, and I made a decision to step back so that I could have time to pursue this endeavor. I've always been civic-minded and had a chance to sit on many boards here in the community, like GGIP, the Incubator, St. Mary's Hospital, as well as the Suicide Prevention Coalition. And but at this point, I would like to give more back to this city that I love so dearly. It's a critical time for us in this valley. We have not recovered from the recession, and I am concerned that economic growth has been stagnant for a considerable length of time. And so what I would like to do is bring my business experience to growing companies like Marmot, like Timberland, like Swiss Army was where I was CEO for 15 years. I'd like to bring that experience and that ability to manage budgets and to manage cash flows and balance sheets to further this city and its economic growth. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kim Kirk, and I'm honored to be a candidate for City Council and to be here tonight. I think there's one thing that's really important to tell you about me is I'm a builder. I spent 15 years building a successful sign company in Grand Junction. I then spent 5 years building membership and business at the Indoor Tennis Center. And for the last 9 years, I've been working for Blue Star Construction. Last year, we built 130 new homes, including the infrastructure. We came in a little bit under $30 million in sales last year, and that was a heck of a lot of jobs in Grand Junction. I'm really proud of that. I have a really important role in this company where I handle all the planning and development. I work with the city planning and development department and all the planning departments in the entire valley. I know how to get a project through the planning process. I'm familiar with it. I know it's complex, and I've been through over 25 projects with the submittal process, and after approving those projects, I've been a big part of building the infrastructure and managing the budget. My most visible project right now is 237 homes with about a $10 to $12 million budget. One thing I have to tell you about me is whenever I start talking about myself too much, I get really nervous and I get uncomfortable. So anyway, the new city economic development plan calls for the 5-year review this year. Well, what better person is there than someone that's been involved and has hands-on experience in this process? Another issue facing our community right now is stormwater and drainage. I'm a certified state stormwater inspector, so I understand the drainage and the stormwater issues we're facing right now too. So why not, again, put my experience and practical application to use?
Good evening, I'm Dennis Simpson. I'm running for the at-large 4-year seat. As a native Coloradoan, I've had the honor of living in several Western Slope communities. I met my wife while we were living here in Grand Junction in the early 1970s. We were both working for the same accounting firm. We both loved it here, but our careers required that we move around some. We always kept track of what was going on here, and we were able to move back in 1996. Our youngest daughter graduated from Grand Junction High School. For the last 14 years, I have been a practicing certified public accountant here in Grand Junction. I am a fiscal conservative and a lifelong Republican. I believe in limited government, free markets, and transparency in government. Our local economy is obviously not keeping up with the rest of the state. We need to be concerned about the lack of economic activity and exodus of many good citizens who have been forced to leave our valley. We need to come together to find innovative ways to turn things around. We also need a more open process for how decisions are made. We need to admit that not all knowledge rests with the City Council and the city staff. Transparency is a buzzword that all politicians endorse while they're running for election. Most, however, not follow through when elected. I will advocate for real change in this area. For over 10 years, I have participated in our local government as a citizen. I have raised numerous issues that have resulted in substantive changes. My effort to participate in local government from the foxhole of a private citizen has given me a unique perspective that will be valuable as tough future decisions are being made.
I'm Chris Kennedy. I'm running for the at-large seat, 4-year seat, and Dennis is my opponent. I want to thank Kevin and Freedom Colorado for hosting this event. As always, I'm sure it's going to be lively and entertaining. It hasn't failed to be that in the past. I don't expect it to fail tonight, and it certainly won't fail in the future. Many of you remember me from last year when I ran unsuccessfully against Dan Thurlow for the House District 55 seat. As I tell everybody, in groups of 10, 6.5 of you voted for my opponent, but I really want to thank the 3.5 of you that voted for me. It wasn't unanimous, and that says a lot, and I also think there's a lot of things happening in the movement of the state legislature that made a lot of the arguments that we were making last year relevant and still relevant today. I'm running for city council because it's really time to start thinking about our valley and the city as it looks 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now. This isn't about tomorrow. This is about many, many years out, and how we are setting up our infrastructure in order to attract new and diverse businesses to this valley. Broadband is a big topic. My professional experience is in broadband communications over the last 25 years. I think I'm uniquely qualified to assist the city and our constituents in advancing broadband technology, and that goes to the ballot referendum that'll be on the ballot for freeing us up from the state law